et de l'ouverture dans ce qui est fermé. Voilà, je vous souhaite plein succès à vos travaux et je vous remercie.
Merci M. Belouche. Je passe la parole tout en la remerciant Mme Anna Amadine, ambassadeur commerciale de la
Excellences, Messieurs le ministre, Monsieur le Wali de la région, Monsieur le Président de la République, Madame la Conseillère de l'UNESCO, Mesdames et Messieurs, je vous remercie pour cette invitation à participer et à partager avec vous quelques expériences suédoises sur le thème de la politique de la liberté de connexion et la liberté sur Internet. J'ai bien noté que M. le ministre Guéron est expulsé pour ne pas parler en arabe. Moi, je dois m'excuser pour ne pas parler ni en arabe ni en français. Normalement, je présente le discours en français, mais à cause du caractère technique de ce sujet, j'ai opté pour l'anglais. Et pour cela, j'espère que tout le monde a reçu les soutiens. Là, je sais. C'est ça que chacun a fait. Alors, merci.
On peut peut-être laisser le temps que les gens aillent chercher leur
interprète. Je pense.
It should be in English.
Ça repose 3 minutes.
لما دخل بداية الثمانينات غياب لكن هو بدأ في نهاية الستينيات. نحن الآن 40 سنة بعد ذلك.
Okay. Okay, I thank you for your patience. I'm very happy and feel honored to be here today. The Swedish government is strongly engaged, as you know, I hope, in promoting internet freedom, both nationally and internationally. It is therefore important for us to support this Moroccan UNESCO initiative, and I congratulate the Moroccan government for its engagement in this very important area. And after having listened to the ministers, I feel very confident that this progress will go on. Let me start by some reflections on the technology side. 20 years ago wasn't that long ago. The internet was something for a couple of academic nerds at best. Some of us here, some, not all, remember the first GSM telephone arrival, the 2G, and the doubt that was expressed towards that daring new technology. Today, 2 decades later, we are on the verge of a world of true hyperconnectivity. Decade after decade, year after year, we see computing power and technologies of connectivity increasing in dramatic ways. Today, there are more connected devices in the world than there are people. There are more than 6 billion subscribers to mobile telephones, 4 times as many as have landlines, 7 times as many as have fixed internet, and far more lies ahead. We expect mobile data traffic over the next 5 years to grow by a factor of 15. Even more important than that, by that time it's expected that 85% of the population of the world will be covered by networks for mobile data. In 5 years' time, there are likely to be 5 billion mobile broadband subscriptions. Then we will truly be in a world of global hyperconnectivity covering virtually everyone around the globe. So, where is Sweden in all of this? It has to be said that we did not invent the internet. But I think we can proudly say that we've been in the forefront of the use of the net and all the different new communications technologies during the past few decades. The mobile cell phone technology, which has now produced the smartphones, that is bringing the power of the net to almost everybody, It has its origin in the Nordic world. And still today, we're trying to be in the forefront. The recent Network Readiness Report by the World Economic Forum puts Sweden first among all the nations that it's rated. Proud as we are of this, we are also keenly aware that technology is moving fast. Politics is not standing still. The world is a very dynamic place, and where we will be next year, or the decade after, that is still an open question. Then why is Sweden this advanced, and why is my government giving such priority to freedom on the internet? Looking on the normative explanation, Sweden has a strong tradition of constitutional protection of the freedom of speech and the freedom of information. In fact, our constitutional provision in favor of freedom and information and against censorship goes back to 1776. In essence, it has remained the same during the centuries when Sweden went from one of the poorest countries in Europe to one of the more developed societies of the world. Swedes are used to wide interpretation of freedom of expression. To us, free expression is an absolute condition for our democratic society, and any limits are to be regarded as exceptions. This open and free society has also fostered entrepreneurial talent of individuals and created a base for Swedish innovations and for our country's growth since decades, even centuries. More recently, it has taken the fruits of the emerging revolution of science and technology into broad parts of our society. That's the way it must be if we want to continue to develop in a world that is changing as fast as ours. Sweden's story is in no way unique, and that explains why my government promotes an agenda of openness and innovation friendliness, also internationally. We see a very strong link between freedom, the net, and economic development. I believe that many people focus too much on the internet's risks, that this tends to overshadow its great opportunities. But let's not fool ourselves. There are challenges that need to be addressed. As the net becomes increasingly important for our societies, the security of the net becomes the security of our societies. If we don't manage the security of the net, we endanger the security of the rights of individuals, and we endanger the security of our societies. And certainly, there are limits to free speech also in Sweden. Defamation, child pornography, and hate speech are a few examples. Building on our human rights commitments, these exceptions are implemented by national law enforcement agencies and courts. I can tell you that during the last months in Sweden, discussions regarding online behavior have gained momentum. They have focused on posting of offensive pictures on photo sharing sites and on net harassment of women. It seems like people, mostly men, here have used the internet to intimidate women in a way which never would take place in real life. A similar story is being disclosed right now, right here in America. The Facebook site Scoop.case, where dozens of young Moroccan women have been subjected to severe defamation and sexual harassment. This is all problems that are very serious and worrying. If people feel intimidated to use the net to express their views, the full potential of the net will not be achieved. People must realize that words spoken on the net carry the same weight and consequences as they do in real life. There seems sometimes to exist a different social norm, saying that more is acceptable on the net. Even on the net, one is expected to push the limits a little, to stand out, to be interesting. Be it as it may, that we have to work more with attitudes in this respect. However, and this is an important point, in the Swedish case, very few people, commentators or experts, advocated for more restrictions of free expression after what happened. There is a solid agreement that these problems are not solved through more restrictions of expression, but rather by opening up for public debate and improving, when necessary, the framework for implementation. The events clearly point to the fundamental norm that the Swedish government and others promote. And it is that the same rights that we have in the offline world should be applied in the online world. And another main point, a society based on democratic governance, respect for human rights and the rule of law is in a much better position to deal with the next challenges and to maintain the respect for human rights. Unfortunately, we see in many countries that the exception becomes the rule. More states are getting into extensive censorship and surveillance schemes. People are harassed, even thrown in jail for expressing their views on the net. This undermines freedom of expression and is the very basic rationale for our work on this topic. So far, the biggest achievement, however, of Internet freedom was the adoption last year in the Human Rights Council of the United Nations of the resolution on enjoyment of human rights on the Internet. It was a breakthrough. Beyond affirming that freedom of expression applies also to the Internet, the resolution recognized the immense value the net has for global development and called on all states to facilitate and improve general access to it, as was earlier mentioned. I am very glad that Morocco, together with around 80 other countries, co-sponsored this resolution. It proves that there is certainly a basis for continued dialogue between our two countries. But as we all know, Internet success is not attributable to states, quite the opposite. It's actually the absence of a single authority for the Internet that has proven key for this amazing global network. Sweden strongly believes in maintaining the multi-stakeholder model for Internet governance with an integrated and strong human rights perspective. The model is delivered, but more needs to be done. Here, I think we must broaden the previous focus on normative issues to also include real, tangible efforts to bridge the global digital divide. That means we must focus more on the developmental advantages that interconnectivity creates. Mesdames et messieurs, avec ces mots à propos de l'expérience suédoise concernant les questions normatives et les dimensions de développement, de l'interconnexion et la liberté sur le net, je tiens à vous remercier pour votre attention et je souhaite à vous tous un bon travail au cours de cette conférence. Merci beaucoup.